So then when we look at the JOLTS report in general, and we look at like the number of open jobs, for example, we had around 11.5 million open jobs at some point. That was the peak, and now we're sort of around the 9.5 million range. Is that something that's positive for the economy? Does that show that in case there is an economic downturn, there's some positions that that are open to get filled, or do those jobs, the number of open jobs, decrease because those jobs are no longer available because they're just not being offered?
Yeah. I mean, job openings has got mentioned by Chairman Powell last year, and we then all sort of rolled up our sleeves and looked at the series that we had largely never looked at before. It's a series and frankly a measurement that it's a little goofy. There's a variety of reasons why that is. One of the primary reasons is that that often white collar employers will post jobs as a fishing expedition to try and get talent, particularly in tight labor markets. And so you might see more extreme measures of job openings than sort of the reality. Like they wouldn't actually hire all of those people. It's just that they're trying to catch 1 out of 10. And so those job opening numbers are, have that problem. I actually like to look at in the NFIB, not to now we'll get a little weedy in this, but NFIB, which is a small business survey. It's an excellent survey. It comes out once a month. It has great charts, good diverse information about small businesses in America, which represent about 50% of employment. So this is a big swath of the economy that's rarely talked about, because most of the time we're talking about what's going on with earnings and S&P 500 and stuff like that. But the economy is driven meaningfully by small businesses, and so what you see in there is that those openings, they're elevated. The current level's a bit above the peak that happened in the previous cycle, but they're not nearly as extreme as what you see in the JOLTS survey. And the reason why that is because if you're running, and I'm sure you appreciate this, if you're running a small business, you don't put out job openings for a fishing expedition. You put out job openings when you need people to do work. Right. And so there's a lot less fluff in them. And I think they're a better indication of where we are in that cycle, which is, there has been some softening. There are fewer openings available than there were during the peak post-COVID moment. But it's still, there's a lot of openings, a lot of people, a lot of demand for labor in the market relative to the labor that people have.